So, welcome back to Business First TV. My name is Tino. I have the pleasure of having with me today Holly Stone from, I get this wrong every time, it's Holly Stone Hypnotherapy?
Yes.
Wow. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yes, thank you for inviting me back.
It's nice having you back. How are things going?
Yeah, good. Leading up to Christmas now. I'm not sure we're allowed to talk about it, but yeah, counting the days now, excited children.
I don't think we can afford it now. It's like it's a couple of weeks away, isn't it?
Yeah, not long.
Not long.
Not long.
I'm away. Are you away for Christmas? Are you here?
With parents, family, so that'd be lovely.
Hey, look, I've had many therapists on the show, but I've never had one like you, because you specialise in solutions focused.
I am, yes. Makes me slightly different to the average talk therapist, which is why I love what I do, and is why I do what I do, because it really resonated with me. It is a different way of thinking from the usual having to dig deep into problems to find the way forward. We believe, because it's backed by science now, which I like to be able to verify everything I do, that actually a lot of the time focusing on the problem just makes the problem worse. So being solution focused means that we acknowledge the problem, but we spend most of our time focusing on how life will be better without it.
Okay.
So it's very forward, future looking, positive, and yeah, we use the imagination a lot, but there's an awful lot of power in that.
And that's quite key, being positive about it, because having been to see a therapist myself, you know, you can sit and bawl your eyes out and dig up stuff from the past, which does no good. But in my opinion, does no good whatsoever. But
I think the nice thing is that there's choice.
Yeah,
there's choice of therapists out there, and I think that there are therapists out there who are exceptionally good at listening and allowing people to offload, and everybody has different needs. I am just not the person that you come to if you want to sit and dwell on all the things that have gone wrong and need to talk about the problem, because I will say, no, I think we'll park the problem and let's look at how much better things will be when the problem's not there anymore. And not everybody's ready to do that to start with. Sometimes I will say, go and do the other talk bit before you come to me, which is great because there's choice for everybody.
So like sort of exhaust our avenues first before coming to me?
Well, I'll be very honest, I'm often the last chance saloon. A lot of people that come to me have tried counselling, have tried CBT, NLP, all sorts of other things, and they kind of plonk themselves in front of me going, please, can you help? And a lot of the time I can, which is great because I work differently, and I think people find that refreshing and uplifting, and it's easier because it's fun a lot of the time, and because we can appeal to our imagination. You don't have to have a great one, but most of us can imagine how life would be if things were better. And just allowing ourselves to get lost in that sometimes can really start to make a huge difference.
So why do you think that people don't think of you or what you do in the first instance? Why is it that you're last on the list? Because, you know, I would have thought that being, positive about something would be better than to go and dig out the past.
I think people. I was that person several years ago before I found hypnotherapy, and if you had mentioned hypnotherapy to me, I would have gone, not sure about that. Hypnosis and an unknown entity. What you think of are obviously stage shows and people being made to do things, which actually is a misnomer. But I take an awful lot of time to explain that to people. But yeah, when I was looking at courses a few years ago, I was looking for psychotherapy. I was not looking for hypnosis because it just didn't feel like the right thing. But as I say, it was based on ignorance. So I think people shy away from hypnotherapy because they don't actually know what it is. Hence having an opportunity like this to put those myths to bed, really, and say what it is and what it isn't, so that hopefully people have more understanding and more confidence and aren't scared of it, because I can't do anything to anybody.
Well, I don't know.
No, I can't, and nor can Darren Brown or any of the others. They are phenomenal, and I'm in awe of what they do. But it's all appealing to our basic neurological needs and understanding, and it's amazing people are capable of in the right hands.
So what can you do and what can't you do? Because I guess
Good
people
question.
go hypnotherapy, you know, you're going to make me cluck like a chicken.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what people imagine. And hypnotherapy is not hypnosis.
Okay.
It uses hypnosis
Okay.
to warrant positive change, but hypnotherapy encompasses an array of talk therapies. So CBT, as I mentioned, NLP, basically anything that allows us to change thought patterns and pathways in the brain is what we're looking at, because obviously if we're stuck in one direction, we've got one pathway going, and I'm helping people to create new pathways. So we're doing talk therapy, but we're using the ability to contrive a natural mental state, a natural hypnotic trance-like state, because we know that that has a huge amount of power for helping us to break patterns of thinking and allows the brain to actually do what it does best, which is solve its own problems a lot of the time. So I can't do anything. If I had a magic wand, goodness, I wish I could. A lot of the time, you know, magic things away, but it's not like that at all. It's very much an alliance with my client, working together. My clients have to be willing to make changes and put in a little bit of hard work too, but together with my skills and their want to make things better, we can warrant really, really powerful changes in a very short space of time when you're looking at the timescales associated with many therapies.
Okay.
You know, it's not a quick fix, but if you're looking at 12 weeks, actually in the grand scheme of things, that's a very short space of time.
Absolutely. How do what's the process? Do people come to your house? Do you go to them? I know you've got a clinic over in Godalming, is it?
Yeah, no, I predominantly work from home in Wisborough Green, because that's great. I've got a room there and it allows me to be a mum and all the other things that I have to do. But I do have a practice in Guildford and in Godalming, because it's nice to get out and go and work in different places and appeal to a larger audience. But yeah, I'm very structured in the way that I work. I always have to talk to my client on the telephone first. It's no good someone else booking on behalf of somebody else. I won't see them until I've spoken to them. Once we've had the telephone conversation, then we arrange for them to come and have an initial consultation. And during that time, I take quite a lot of time to explain to them the science behind the work that I do. I'm a great believer that if we understand what is going on and why we're doing what we're doing, it can empower people that much more. I could help people, but I think it's really important they understand why we're doing what we're doing. So we explain a lot about how the brain works, which is fascinating. And I have an adult version and I have a teenage version and I have a child's version of how the brain works. So I can tailor it appealing to work with whichever audience I'm working with. But that's the first meeting, and then thereon after we work together.
Okay, because it's very much about you liking them, or not liking them, but getting on with them, and them getting on with you, isn't it?
Yeah, that it's really important that
it's not like
they trust me.
Yeah.
There's something called a therapeutic alliance, and that's just basically, as you rightly say, the rapport that I have with my clients. If they want to work with me, if they trust me and they feel comfortable with me, then yeah, happy days, we'll be okay. And so far so good. But I'm sure I'm not for everybody.
I like my mechanic, which I go along and dump my car on, walk away.
Yeah.
That's not it's provided, but we have to get on.
Because there's no one-hit wonder, with the exception of smoking cessation. That's a one-hit wonder. But other than that, everything else is a slightly longer-term plan.
So there's a telephone conversation we have, and then you have a few sessions with them. Yeah.
So initial consultation. During that time, I get an idea. This is the only time that we focus on the client's problem. Okay. And actually, and this is what people find quite difficult to understand until we've explained it all, but actually I could work with them without even knowing what their problem was. Wow. Because of the way that we work. Okay. But it's nicer for me to know what it is we're looking to change, because then I can really make it personal and be specific. But actually, from the neurological point of view, and if a client came and they really didn't want to talk about their problem, we could still make some great changes without me knowing what it is.
That's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. It is amazing. And I think it's just really lovely to look at the fact that clients come with an array of problems, and we have this very intellectual statement, which is that a problem is only a problem if it's a problem. Yeah. because everybody's different, and what's a problem for one client might not be for somebody else.
Absolutely.
But it's irrelevant. If someone's got a problem that they're not happy about, then that's what we're looking to change.
Wonderful. Okay, now I happen to know that you've got a passion for younger people, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Well, much as I might be doing myself out of business in latter years, I'm a true believer, and maybe it's based on personal experience, that if I had known what I know now when I was a younger person, life might have been a little bit easier because I'd have understood what was going on. So I feel very passionate about empowering our younger audience, giving them the knowledge that I didn't have back then, so they understand why they feel the way they do, what's going on to make them do the things they do, so that they can then have a little toolkit at their disposal that will not only help them then, but they can carry through in later life, that will enable them to cope with things in a different way, that enables them to remain in control and feel happier about life generally. So yeah, talking to younger audience, and I unfortunately see a lot of private clients who are as young as 8, but if I can get into schools, which I've done, and give talks, I work with the local scout group doing ongoing workshops, anything that I can do to educate and empower the younger audience is very close to my heart. I think it's very important.
Be very difficult being a child at the moment, because there's lots of technology changing, relationships are changing, we as adults are changing, our attitudes towards children are changing.
Yeah, I think change is one of the biggest threats to the human race. And certainly from a neurological point of view, from our brain's point of view, anything that is change is something that is a potential threat to our well-being. So our brains respond accordingly. I think it's important to look at our younger audience, though, and remind ourselves, as I am regularly by my own children, that what they are living through is their reality.
Yeah.
And it's easy for us as adults to look at what they're doing with our view and our experience and not judge, but make calls about what's right and wrong based on our lives as opposed to what the children are going through. Social media, who knows what's going to happen with that? There are pros and cons. I could argue both sides of the fence, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I think, as you mentioned earlier, screens have a lot to answer for when it's coming to sleep cycles, and sleep is key for our mental well-being. All of us, there's so much positive and powerful change that happens when we're sleeping, that if we start to upset our rhythms, we can find ourselves in a lot of problems, so sleep is key. But with regard to our children and, video games and social media, and as I say, pros and cons, and I think everything in moderation is good. There are days where if I could bring down the whole of social media, then actually that would be good. But asking an individual child to abstain from social media when the rest of their peer group is on it actually could be incredibly detrimental to their well-being. So it's just understanding it from their perspective and understanding how their brains are dictating their behaviours. And when we can understand that, then we can understand a lot of the behaviours that they're demonstrating.
What do young people come to see you about? What's going on in their heads?
Gosh, that's a tricky one. I think a lot of the time they don't know. The younger audience tend to be brought by their parents and are, I suppose, put in front of me with a label attached. A lot of them are angry children, and that's using adult words.
Okay.
The younger children, they don't understand what that means, and a child will very quickly take a label and become it. And one of the first things that I'll do with the younger audience is explain to them that they are not an angry child. All of them is not angry. It's, they are not defined by their behaviour. It's a natural response to them feeling threatened and vulnerable often.
Right.
So once we can explain that to their parents and to them, we can put in place security systems and the children can sort things out quite quickly. But within that, you get, bedwetting, separation anxieties with the younger audience. And then teens, they use the word anxiety a lot.
Okay.
I think we're all to blame for that. They've picked that one up, bearing in mind our children learn from us, you know, but they come through saying they're suffering from exam stress and sleeplessness and low self-esteem.
In their world, they are.
Oh, absolutely,
You know, so-
absolutely. I'm not criticising at all, but I think we have to recognise that our children are learning from us.
Yeah.
So if we can empower them and explain to them why they're feeling worried and give them tools to feel more confident and understand why their brains are encouraging them to want to be part of the gang, even though it doesn't necessarily feel right, then they can start to understand themselves better and generally feel a bit more in control.
Absolutely amazing.
It's great. I love it.
How long have you been in business now?
This will be my 3rd year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you had any marketing challenges, business challenges in your growth?
Challenges are every day, aren't they, in trying to keep the balance going. It's the one thing I've found through being self-employed. It's an interesting dynamic. I've run all sorts of different things over the years since having children. I've never been one to sit back and do nothing. But this is the first time that I have really, I think, found my calling. So it really matters to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the balance between being busy with clients and maintaining your presence is an interesting one. Social media, people expect you to be on there, don't they? So I quite enjoy it, but I'm very selective about when I'm on social media and what I'm posting. It's not a personal thing for me, it's business. But gosh, I'm always out there, always needing to learn new things to raise my awareness.
Tell me about your business. So there's marketing, there's accounting, there's networking, and I think people forget that as a small business we have to do this.
We are it.
You know, we are the people who do pretty much everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why having opportunities like this is great. I'm a great yes person. I think, take yourself out of your comfort zone and do something new because you never know what it's going to bring. That face your fear and do it anyway. Being self-employed, being on your own and a sole practitioner, it's pros and cons, isn't it? You've got the flexibility that comes with it, but then equally, the isolation that comes with it. So making an effort to get out and socialise with other individuals is really important. And thankfully, because of my professional bodies that I'm members of, I have to attend so many hours of CPD. That's brilliant because that gets me out with my peer group. We have to attend so many hours of supervision, so that's spending time with our peers. That also gets you out and socialising with, and we've got a really nice network which is growing of solution-focused hypnotherapists in this area, which I love, which is brilliant. But networking, all the other things that you mention, and accounts and it's been a learning curve, but I've admitted, and I think it's one of the biggest lessons, what I am good at, and that is working with my clients. And I am very organised and I can do everything else, but I have help.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
Yeah.
People who are listening who want to find out more, what's the way forward?
Website's a great place to start, which is Holly Stone Hypnotherapy, or Facebook, or as we mentioned, social media. Phoning me, I'm always very happy to have a chat. If you want me to come and give talks, I'm very happy to do that too. But I would suggest the website's the first port of call, or the telephone.
Are you big on giving talks?
I love it if I can.
Okay. Well,
absolutely.
Get you on to give me a talk at some point.
Yeah, okay.
If you guys have missed anything, there's a ticker along the bottom. You'll get all the details of Holly Stone just there. Holly, thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And thank you for watching.
Thank you.